sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
A young man had just lost his mother and dad. He was about 12 years of age. And he didn't want to go stay with anyone or go to an orphanage home. He just wanted to try to make it on his own. He thought he was a young man. So he went into town and he began to question around about a job. He tried and went many places. Finally somebody suggested, why don't you go by the newspaper office and maybe you can get a job selling papers. So the young man did. He dropped by and they gave him papers to sell. And in the meantime, he went back into the alley, built him a little makeshift home out of pasteboard boxes and stuff. And went back out the next morning with his papers on the street to sell. And as he sold papers, the next day it was raining and cold. And the young man, he was all cold and hadn't really had anything to eat. And he seen these two men, big men dressed up. He went up to him and he said, sir, would you buy a newspaper? I'm awful hungry and I haven't had anything to eat. I need to sell a newspaper so I can buy myself something to eat. The big old man looked at him and he said, son, he said, I really don't need a newspaper, but he said, will you do something for me? I know you're cold and you're hungry and it's raining. He said, if you look down to the end of the street, there's a big old house down there at the end. And he said, just go down there and knock on that door. And when they come to the door, just say John 3:16. The young man was awful hungry and awful cold and wet. So he just about do anything right now. And so he walked down the street, walked up to that big old house and knocked on the door. The big old man come to the door. And he said, John 3:16. The big old man said, come on in, son. Took him in, set him down in front of a big old fireplace, bigger than he'd ever seen. He said, son, said, you just sit there and kind of warm your bones and kind of dry out a little bit, and I'll be back. As he went out of the room, the little boy sat there by the fire, and he'd never seen such a big fireplace in his life. And as he began to warm and his clothes began to dry out a little bit, he says, you know, I really wonder what that John 3:16 is. He said, I really don't know, but I know one thing. It'll warm you when you're cold, and it'll dry you when you're wet. The big old man come back in, and he said, son, are you hungry? The little boy said, yes, sir. He said, I'm very hungry, said I haven't had anything to eat since yesterday. The big old man said, come on and follow me. He walked him on back there, and there was the biggest table he'd ever seen in his life, filled up with food. He'd never seen a kitchen that big and as much food. The big man said, son, said, you just sit down right here at this big old table. And he said, you eat all you want to eat. And he said, you eat till you get full. And he says, I'll be back in a little bit. The little boy sat down at the table and never seen so much food in his life. And he'd eat till he was just full. And he began to think again. He said, you know, he said, I sure would like to know what that John 3:16 is. He said, I know one thing. It'll feed you when you're hungry. Amen. The big old man come back. He said, son, says, come on and follow me. He got him, took him back to the biggest old bathroom he'd ever seen and shower. He said, son, says, you just get in that old big tub and you wash till you get clean. And he says, here's your brand new pair of pajamas to put on when you get through. The little boy climbed over in that old big tub, and that water was so warm, and he'd never been in a tub like that. And he began to wash and clean up, and while he was washing and cleaning up, he said, Lord, I would love to know what that John 3:16 really is. He got all cleaned up. The big man come back. He said, son, are you tired? He said, yes, sir. He said, come on and follow me. He took him on back there in the big room. Biggest old bed he'd ever seen. Most beautiful bedroom. He'd never seen nothing like it. He helped the little boy up and put him in the bed and tucked him in. He said, now son, he says, you just lay there in that bed and get you a good night's rest. And he said, I'll be back in the morning and check on you. That little boy was all colored up in the bed and never been in nothing like it. And as he laid there, it was hard for him to go to sleep, and he began to think again. He said, Lord, I would love to know. I'd surely love to know what that John 3:16 really is. He said, I don't know, but I can tell you one thing. It'll warm you when you're cold. It'll dry you when you're wet. He said, it'll feed you when you're hungry. And he said, it'll clean you when you're dirty. And he says, it'll also warm you and give you a good night's rest. As he went off to sleep, the next morning the big man came and woke him. And he woke up and he said, sir, he said, I sure would like to know what that John 3:16 is. He says, I've never been treated by nobody as good as you've treated me. You've been so good. You warmed me when I was cold, and you fed me when I was hungry, and cleansed me when I was dirty, and give me a good night's rest in the biggest bed I've ever seen. He said, son, if you think I've been good to you, that's nothing to what that John 3:16 will do for you. He said, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Son, God will do more for you than I've ever been able to do. I just want you to know, John 3:16 still will clean you up. It'll still feed you. It'll still clothe you and still give you a home to stay in. May God bless you. Amen.